Welcome to Lab 1, evaluating hardware readiness and capability. We're going to start with exercise 1.1. Before we begin, we need to have our server A and client B virtual machines. If you look in our lab setup guide, you'll notice that the server 2012 server will be named server A, and our Windows 7 client computer will be called client C. So, two things I wanted to highlight were the IP addresses of the different virtual machines. When you set up the server, you want to take the DHCP address that was given by VMware and convert that to a static address. For the DNS for your server, though, you put in the server's IP, and then after you upgrade to the domain, it will actually change the IP to the loopback address 127.0.0.1. On your client, you do the same thing with the DHCP address given by VMware, convert it to a static address. But in the DNS portion of the IPv4 configuration, you're going to put in the server A's IP. So whichever address that you had used as a static address to configure your server is what you'll put in as the DNS for your server, or client, sorry, for the DNS server. Okay. So before we actually start the lab, there's a few things we need. So we will need the upgrade assistant. So if you want to go to Google and Google the Windows 8.1 upgrade assistant. So we're going to need that. So there's a table in your lab manual on page 2. It's called Table 1-2, the software required for Lab 1. That actually shows what software is needed. Before each lab, there's a indication if you need to download any software and where it needs to be placed. Now, actually on this table it shows that it needs to be put into the server, and the lab setup guide actually has instructions for creating a share to put that in. So we'll go through that process. I've already downloaded the upgrade assistant to my desktop. So we're going to go ahead and go back to VMware, and I need to put this on the server. So the location that they show is that it needs to be created in a folder called software on the C drive. So we're going to log into our server as the domain admin. We're going to open the File Explorer, go to the C drive. We're going to create a new folder called software. I'm going to open that folder. Then I'm going to go back out to my desktop and get the upgrade assistant that I downloaded. I'm going to drag it over to the icon for VMware. VMware will appear, then I can move it up and drop it into place. So it actually copied it from my host machine into my virtual machine in the correct location that I need it. Now we need to actually share that document. So we're going to close the folder. So we're now logged into the server and we're on the dashboard. So we're going to go to File and Storage Services, Shares, because we're going to create a new share. And in the blank space below the existing shares, we can say New Share. Quick is fine. And then we need to give it a custom path. So it's on the C software. Say Next. And we're going to leave it called software because this is the name that they want us to share the upgrade assistant from. Caching is fine. We need to make sure that our administrators have full control so we can actually install the software and say create. So now we actually completed the steps necessary for setting up the Lab1 configuration. So it didn't have creating a share in here. You can just assume that's what you're going to have to do. Now we want to make sure that both of our clients communicate with each other, so we're going to do that quickly. I'm going to log into my client C. One of the things to keep in mind, if you have the firewall on your client C, it's going to prevent your server from receiving a ping back. So if you want to change your firewall settings in client C, we're going to turn them off temporarily. Just so you can ping the client C from your server. So now I'm back on my server. I'm going to right click and go to command prompt. We're going to ping client C. So it does reply back. We're going to go back to our client C. We're going to turn this back on because we know that this works. Normally you wouldn't do this in an operational machine, turn the firewall off. I just wanted to show you that that's what would have blocked your connection if you get a failure notice pinging your client from the server. So now we're going to ping the server from our client. We're going to go to start, type CMD. Now we don't need to run this as administrator, but it did run it as administrator. So we're just going to ping server A and make sure we can get there. So I'm just going to quickly show you our IP settings. So if you notice in the DNS box I have my server's IP. The gateway I have the VMware gateway address. Subnet is listed here, and then my client's IP that I converted. My server is similar, although the DNS on my server will now appear a little differently. It doesn't appear here because it's a loopback address. So that's the way it appears. So we cancel those. If you noticed, I didn't have IPv6 turned on because it can cause issues. So we're already logged in as our, so exercise 1.1. I'm already logged in as the ADATM administrator, but you actually want to log in, so I'll show you that. Control-Alt-Insert is how you do Control-Delete inside VMware, if you want to use that. There's also a tab on the, a command, sorry, on the toolbar at the top for sending Control-Delete. We're actually logging into Client C, although your guide may say Client B, but it's mistaken. In this one, we're actually the Windows 7 virtual machine is Client C. So we're going to go to the Start button, right-click Properties, and then answer question 1. What version and edition? This shows you the edition. For the version, you actually need to run the command prompt, command ver, and that shows you the version. How much memory does the system have? It's listed on the screen. That's question 2. So if you want to answer question 1 and 2, you should be able to do that now. And then we're going to close the window, go to the Start menu, All Programs, Accessories, System Tools, System Information. And this is a more detailed view. And then they ask you in question 3, which version are you using? You should be able to find that here. For the OS version is what it's asking for. And then question 4, which processor or processors do you have? You should be able to find that on there as well. So you take those answers and write them into the worksheet. By the way, if you haven't found it by now, the lab worksheet is available on the Blackboard course under Content, Submit Lab Worksheets, and then you download them each as an attached file as they're ready. So edit it in Word, but make sure to export it and save it as a PDF to resubmit it. So now we're going to close this. Go back to the Windows Explorer, which is the folder on the desktop. System tray, sorry. Toolbar at the bottom of your screen. Go to Computer, and then how much. Question 5 is how much disk space do you have on your drive C? Accept the answer of the free space. And that's the end of exercise 1.1. So we're going to start exercise 1.2. We're going to stay logged into client C. And then we're going to go to our server software folder. Now that we know that we can get there, since we know our networking's right. Now I already downloaded this and put it into the folder earlier. So we're going to double click that to run it. If it asks you for a security warning, click Run. Go ahead and do that. It'll take a while to run. Okay, so now it's showing us what it found. So you want to do a Alt print screen and paste this into the Word document for the worksheet. To paste it, you do the Control V. So now we want to, after we do our screenshot, we want to make sure to do the compatibility details. So let's click on that. And then question 6 is which items do you need to review? These are the 2 items up here that I need to review in my virtual machine, so that would be the answer to that question. If you run it on another actual machine, you might see different answers. But for our virtual machines, we'll only see these 2. Needs a DVD player app, and it's not using Secure Boot. And the second one is because when I created the virtual machine, I chose a legacy BIOS. So we click Close. It says click Finish in your guide, but actually we'll just click Close because we don't need to do anything else, and say yes and log off. That's the end of Lab 1.